American tennis player, her name is Taylor Townsend. She was in China for a tournament. And while she was over there, she criticized Chinese food. Listen.
What the hell? What the heliante? This is crazy. I've never seen one of these up close. Make sure you get that. I'm honestly just so shocked at like what I saw in the dinner buffet. And as I go back on my Instagram story and I look and I'm like, these people are literally killing frogs. Bullfrogs. Aren't those poisonous? Aren't those the ones that be giving you warts and boils and stuff? And turtles? And the fact that like it's all stewed up with like chilies and peppers and onions and like, oh, you really made this a dish. And then you got the sea cucumbers just staring there like with the noodles. The only thing that we eat.
Okay, so as you can imagine, because we live in this cancel culture hellhole, people were coming at her saying that, of course, these comments, because how dare she criticize Chinese food, were racist, xenophobic, etc., etc. So then, of course, she had to take back to Instagram. This was the Instagram story that she posted just a few hours ago. Here's her apology.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to come on here and apologize sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I understand that I am so privileged as a professional athlete to be able to travel all around the world and experience cultural differences, which is one of the things that I love so much about what I do. And I have had nothing but the most amazing experience and time here. And the tournament and everyone has been so kind and so gracious. And the things that I said were not representative of that at all. And I just truly wanted to apologize. There's no excuse, there's no words. And for me, I will be better. I'm really, really thankful to my country to be able to represent them and to be better. And that's all that I can do. So I just truly apologize. And
for what? Apologize for what? Do not apologize. Do not give the cancel culture mob an inch. Because I agreed with everything she said about that food. It looked gross. And I don't want to eat bullfrogs either. And I don't want to eat sea cucumbers either. I will double down on her comments. I don't want to eat any of that. No hate, no shade to anyone who does. But Americans are not used to that kind of cuisine. It is okay to travel abroad and realize that you like American food better. It is okay to travel abroad and feel proud of where you come from and be excited to go back home because we live in the greatest country in the entire world. Do not apologize to chronically online freaks who call you names like racist, xenophobic. Maybe she's just not used to having these terms thrown at her. I could see how that's very scary. Maybe it's her first time. She's not used to the cancel culture warriors coming at her and calling her, racist with no basis. Well, Taylor, welcome to the club. Just because someone calls you racist doesn't mean you are. Keep it moving. And next time, do not apologize because cancel culture is officially canceled. I want to ask you, some people think that Taylor Swift is MAGA. Some people think that Travis Kelce is MAGA. To me, if you are Taylor Swift and you make posts about Senator Marsha Blackburn being horrible, don't vote for her, that to me is not giving MAGA.
Right.
To me, if you are truly a conservative and truly a Republican, you would just shut up if you don't agree. But she comes out and she makes these political stances. She comes out and makes endorsements. She endorsed Kamala Harris. To me, that's not giving MAGA. I've never met a MAGA person who's posted, childless cat lady here voting for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Also, Travis Kelce. People say he's MAGA coded. Pfizer, Bud Light.
Yeah.
You can't tell me, unless they are complete sellouts and they'll do anything for money. I could see that, but I also can't see them being MAGA.
100%. So I think, if you want to get into it, I think she started her music career as a female in music, an attractive young girl. And I think there were things in the industry that affected her, that changed her stance. I think she went sort of in the feminist route. She started, she's in the arts. So she's going to have backup dancers and she's going to have this. And culturally, she aligned herself with the left. Right. She had political statements. She did all of this. what I believe, and what I believe multiple people believe out there that are normal, is that there's an arc. And a lot of times with females, there's an arc. You know, you may have a bad breakup and you're like, F men. I don't believe in marriage. I'm going to get cats. Like, I'm going to be alone forever and I don't need anyone. I'm going to get a really good job. And then a hot guy walks by, looks at them, talks to them. They fall in love and they're like, oh my God, I want to have 100 of your kids. Wow, this.
And they give it up immediately. Like they drop the career like a hot potato.
Life is a journey, especially for women, and the experiences that they have relationship wise will change them. And I believe a lot of women that, you know, have their hard stances on the left, just haven't met the right guy. And they haven't had that relationship that makes them think about kids, that makes them think about marriage, that makes them want. And by the way, most women, until they're raising kids, aren't really thinking about the impact on children culturally.
Right.
So I believe she is in a phase of life that is trad wife coded, that is MAGA coded. Again, she's not going to come out and make any political statements, but this album was written for millennial conservative women.
So this has been going viral now on X. This is where I saw it. Now, election officials in Minnesota are admitting on the record in a hearing that illegal aliens can vote in Minnesota. So back in 2023, Minnesota Governor Tampon Tim signed the Driver's License for All Act. And then yesterday, an election official confirmed all of this. So watch this.
It's done.
A packed room at the St. Paul Armory erupted after the governor's signature made driver's license for all the law of the land.
So we give driver's licenses to anyone here. You don't have to be a citizen. You don't have to, which is a photo ID. So if someone comes in, they register, they have the driver's license, but they have an incorrect social or no social or whatever. So then they become incomplete. But if they walk in to vote with their driver's license, does that make them all of a sudden now okay?
Mr. Linnell.
Madam Chair, so the designation on the roster for someone whose registration had been incomplete, if they present the election judge with that acceptable identification document, that would clear the challenge from the roster and they would be permitted to cast a ballot.
Mr. Anderson.
Well, okay, there's your problem potentially. So thank you.
So just to clarify, someone who is not a citizen but presents a driver's license at that point in the process could be permitted to vote.
Madam Chair, at the time of registration, as well as at the time of submitting a ballot, every voter is signing the attestation affirming their eligibility to vote, including that they meet all eligibility requirements, that they are a U.S. citizen.
Right, but they're not checking it, right? They are not checking this. So it doesn't matter that they're supposed to be a citizen. This is just like the honor system where we're just supposed to believe that, you know, they're being honorable and they're following the rule of law, which we know illegal aliens don't do. And if I was living here, I would want to vote. And clearly they want to live this American dream. They just want to take shortcuts and they want to do it the wrong way. So I wouldn't put it past these people to not follow the rules so that they get to vote for the same candidates that let them walk across the southern border anyway. Of course, this is the pipeline. Democrats let them in, they vote for Democrats. This is like one hand washes the other. This is their little handshake. And so when an illegal alien gets a photo ID, and then in Minnesota, all you need is a photo ID to vote, guess what? Illegal aliens are going to vote. And apparently there are 81,000 people living in Minnesota illegally. I'm not saying that all 81,000 illegal aliens in Minnesota voted, but they could. And that makes a huge difference. And here is Gavin Newsom insinuating the same thing. Watch this.
In LA, do you think ICE is not going to show up around voting and polling booths to chill participation? You know that. The National Guard, you know that. Everybody knows what's at stake. So we have to put a stake in the ground and do things differently.
He's saying the quiet part out loud. He's saying the quiet part out loud. He's literally saying that ICE is going to be outside polling booths and that's going to deter people from voting. Why? Because you're supposed to be a citizen to vote. So anyone who's a citizen who's going to vote is not going to be deterred by ICE. Me personally, if I showed up to a voting booth, my polling location on election day, and I saw law enforcement, or if I saw ICE agents or anything like that, what's it to me? I don't care. All I would say is, hope you're having a nice day. Hey, officer, thank you. That's all I would say. And as a citizen, I would feel better seeing them there, knowing that if there are illegal aliens who are attempting to vote in our elections, they should be nabbed right then and there. But isn't it interesting that Gavin Newsom is using this rhetoric as like fear-mongering tactics? Like, ICE is going to prevent people from voting. ICE would be preventing the wrong people from voting. Last thing that I have for you before we bring in Scott is this crazy baby name story. So BuzzFeed did an article and they were talking about this baby name trend where Americans are naming their babies aggressive things, and it is seriously alarming experts, according to BuzzFeed, which is obviously a joke. But this is an excerpt from the article. It says, there is a small but noticeable trend of parents using weapons-inspired and more broadly, aggressive names for their sons. And some of the responses, or some of the examples rather, are Wesson, Caliber, Shooter, Trigger, Blade, Cannon, Remington, Colt, Ruger, and Winchester. Also Arson, Cutter, and Dagger. The Eagle Screech for Dagger. Yeah, it just, something is, these names really get you going. They do. So here is some more information. It says, most of these names peaked in use relatively recently. Wesson in 2021, it was used 306 times. There are 306 babies in a year being named Wesson. Could you imagine twin boys named Smith and Wesson? So Wesson in 2021 was used 306 times. Caliber was used 24 times in 2018. Mace was used in 2022 64 times. I could see Mace being a nickname for Mason, but Mace spelled M-A-C-E, or like Macy for a girl, but Mace?
Like Windu?
I don't like that. I don't like
Shouldn't
Mace.
even get it.
I don't like Mace. I'm out on that one. Dagger, I'm also out on. Dagger, maybe that's a name. Dagger and Trigger, Cutter, Arson. You're gonna name your son Arson? You're setting him up to fail.
Where's Bunker Buster?
It's crazy.
A little Bunker Buster Caronia.
But some of these names I think would make good names for a dog. You know, Shooter, Trigger, Blade. You can't name a human child Blade. Come on. This is crazy. What happened to like James, or what happened to Kevin? What happened to, I don't know, anything normal? Also, people are using Barrett. Dutton, Stetson, and Boone are also Maverick. These are probably more Southern, and that's not as aggressive, but it's more like American cowboy manly. I don't mind Stetson, I guess. I don't know. Bring back normal names. What do you guys think in the chat? Someone says Colt sounds good. Yeah, Colt is kind of cool.
Howitzer.
Chief and Major, those are Biden's dogs' names, right? Major and he had Commander. Remember the dogs that were like wreaking havoc and biting everyone in the White House? See, that's what happens. You name them these names and then they live up to the prophecy. They become, are all these kids named, Wesson and Colt? Are they going to be school shooters? Like what are they going to grow up to be? Police are now warning against this prank that people are playing on their loved ones, where they are going to ChatGPT. They're taking a picture of their kitchen, of their bedroom, of their front door, other places in the home, and then they're asking ChatGPT to put a homeless man in the photos. So the fake homeless man is being superimposed into real pictures of their house. So, for example, I take a picture of my front door. I say, hey, ChatGPT, can you put a homeless man there? And then I'm texting my mom or my dad, and I'm saying, hey, this guy says that he knows you. What do I do? And then people are getting these text messages and they're reacting. So here's an example of one of those videos, and then we'll get into what police officers are saying about it. So it says, homeless man prank on my dad. He's saying this guy says he knows you. The dad says, no, I don't know him. What does he want? So then she replies with a photo of the homeless man on the couch. Dad is calling 3 times. Pick up the phone. I don't know this man. Hello. Then the son, I think it's the son, sends another picture of the homeless man going through the fridge. Now the dad's calling 7 times. Pick up the phone. Are you getting my calls? Now the homeless man is in the bathroom, and it says, hey, he wanted to brush his teeth. Is it okay if he uses your toothbrush? Now the dad's calling 13 times. No, don't use my toothbrush. So it just escalates. It's all fun and games, right? You're sending a picture of a homeless man sleeping in your bed. Any parent would probably freak out. Well, here's what Yonkers Police Department, what they're saying in New York. They are saying that this prank, this is, contributing to a few calls, 911 calls, and they're saying officers are responding. They are using lights and sirens to get to what they think is a real intruder, only to then realize that, it's just a joke. And the police office or the police department there in Yonkers is saying it's not just a waste of resources, it's a real safety risk for officers who are responding and for the family members of the home if our officers get there before the prank is revealed and rush into the home to apprehend this intruder that doesn't exist. So what's your reaction to this prank?
Yeah. Well, I love a good joke. My wife says I'm her 4th child, and police officers by and large have very dark sense of humor. So it's probably pretty funny at first, but then it gets gray. There's some black and white areas, right? And then it gets gray. And so you have to be careful, because especially when you start, number one, you are wasting resources, number one. But more importantly, if these guys are running code, when you run lights and sirens, it's called running code. If you're running code 2 to a call, then you are speeding, you are running emergency traffic, but you also possibly blowing through a stoplight or running through a stop sign. And you could, the police officers know how to drive, obviously, but you're putting people at risk for no reason, and you don't know that until it's too late. So it's a fine line between the jokes and reality. And I will say this too: I saw one where a guy had done this with it. He had a maid in his house. And that guy took his life into his own hands with his wife blew his phone up. I'm like, brother, you're crazy.
Right. Yes. To extrapolate that further for people who haven't seen this is basically like the homeless AI trend, but flipped. So men are sending pictures of a fake maid in like a hot outfit to their wife. Like, hey, this woman came over and said that you hired her to clean the house. Anyway, to your point, an angry wife could also be very scary to deal with.
Ooh, no, thank you.
This Super Bowl coming up is, they're catching some heat because the halftime show is Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican. He doesn't have songs in English for the most part. What do you make of this? To me, this is un-American.
And I guess you're pulling from my ex post the other day. Un-American, call it what you want. We got a, the lack of a better phrase, a melting pot here. And there's so many languages spoken here. I've got a lot of Puerto Rican friends. I lived in Puerto Rico 3 times playing winter ball. I was just in Atlanta, in Nashville last week, hanging out with Puerto Rican guys like Javi Lopez and Carlos Baerga, guys I play ball with. I love these guys. So not so much is to say un-American, but certainly not gelling with the vibe of what the NFL is: a manly game, a gladiator type sport. I mean, what's next? This guy going to sing the national anthem at a UFC event. To have a cross-dressing transvestite, for all lack of a better word, before the halftime show, is the first words out of your mouth are like, what?
Totally.
Where's the fucking punchline here? You could have picked somebody better. I mean, literally, I don't follow ridiculous stuff like that, mainly because I'm a grown ass man. I don't listen to anyone named Bad Bunny. I feel stupid in saying that. What's his real name? I mean, Jose Sanchez. Like, just
no idea.
Grow up, Peter Pan. So yeah, I couldn't tell you one song they sing, if you can even call it singing, but I mean, again, it's the NFL just leaning toward that woke society. They're trying to appeal to woke. NFL woke is not your fan base. Yeah. They're not. Stop it. No, as bad as you want it to be, you can't have. I'm not saying it. This person played your halftime show and expect, oh my God, we just gained 30% more viewership off the gay community and the trans community. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So what is your hell bent to try to go woke and appease? I think the last time I checked, the homosexual population in America was 3% of the population.
This is a little boy named Braylon, and he is from Memphis, where President Trump has sent in the National Guard, and he's cool with it. Watch this.
My name is Braylon, and I live here in Memphis. I've been noticing not just a slight change, more of a detrimental change in like how peaceful Memphis is ever since the National Guard came. There was a lot of things I couldn't do before the National Guard came because I had to worry a lot about guns and stuff. I couldn't play because I was worried that somebody might pull out a gun or something, but now I could do that. And I just wanted to thank the President of the United States for bringing the National Guard.
How sweet.
This kid could be in Congress right now. Get him in Congress. No, dead serious. He speaks better than half the people in Congress.
He's so sweet, so well-spoken, so smart, so grateful to feel safe. And that's what really this is all about, right? We want to protect people who can't protect themselves. We want to give a voice to the voiceless. We want to protect our children. And we want to give our children a better country to grow up in than what we had, and a better life than what we had. We want to foster the next generation, to give them the support that they need. And I just feel like his mom is doing a great job. He is grateful to feel safe and to be able to play outside and not have to worry about gun violence. And the fact, I mean, I don't know, maybe his mom just told him to say this for views. That's always a possibility, right? But he seemed pretty genuine. So I think that this is pretty cool. I also found another video of a boy who is also wise beyond his years. And here he is doing his part to feed the homeless. Watch this.
Let's feed the homeless. Today I'm making chicken burritos. Thanks to all your donations, I can make more complex food and feed the homeless even better. Again, thank you so much for all your generosity, but I already removed the link as I have enough for a while. And as always, if I need anything, I'll let you guys know. Do you guys want a chicken burrito? Do you want water as well? Excuse me, sir. You want a chicken burrito? Water? I like small bottles of water.
Here he is giving out the burritos that he made. Chicken burritos.
Do you want a chicken burrito?
Homemade chicken burrito.
Sorry.
Here he is handing it
Yeah,
off.
no problem. Sorry if my wrapping's a bit messy, but sorry, hang on. Do you want water? I have bottles of water here.
Bottles of water.
As always, make sure to like, comment, and follow.
I mean, the kids are going to be all right, okay? I feel very good about this next generation. They're blowing me away. And I love the part in the video where he's so grateful for the donations that he's received, because he's posting these videos online. It's garnering a lot of viewership. People are donating to him. And he said, I removed the link in his bio to donate more because he says, I have enough right now. These are hilarious. And I will say, with AI, nobody will ever rest in peace ever again. Nobody will rest in peace ever again. With that said, let's roll the first one.
Gates ready, and it's
So
open.
here's
Stephen Hawking is out on big dip.
Here's Stephen Hawking riding a
Look at that
bull.
little twist. He's holding steady, folks. 6, 7. There it is. 8 seconds on the.
And he's holding on. I mean, that was 8 seconds. Stephen Hawking, incredible, holding on to the bull, holding on there. This, again, to my point, nobody's going to rest in peace. Certainly not Stephen Hawking. I have a lot of Stephen Hawking videos here. Here's Stephen Hawking wrestling Harambe. The
No way! Harambe's got Hawking on the roof! Oh my God! Right off the cell! Hawking crashed through the table! The man's broken in half! Somebody get some help out here!
I never thought I'd see it. I never thought I'd see Harambe, the gorilla from the Cincinnati Zoo that, some kid got into the enclosure, and then, of course, they had to kill the gorilla who was doing nothing wrong. But Harambe, may he rest in peace. Wrestling Stephen Hawking, may he rest in peace. Who would have thought?
Did you know that wheelchair? It didn't even get scratched. That's a wheelchair.
Yeah, it was a hefty wheelchair. Someone in the chat said he knows his physics. Maybe that's why he held on to the bull for so long.
I guess. If the wheelchair is strapped to the bull and then he's strapped to the wheelchair, is that cheating in professional bull riding?
I think so. Here is Stephen Hawking excelling in every single sport. Watch this. He's on the, what do you call this? He's on the bars.
The high bar.
The high bar.
Smooth down the runway.
Of course,
Planted in,
now
and
he's
he is
pole
up.
vaulting.
Over the top, clears it. The bar stays.
He sticks the
Incredible.
landing.
Hawking fields it clean.
Here he
Riding
is,
that
getting a
skewer up the right
touchdown.
hash. He's got a wall in front. Stephen Hawking at the top. Wins perfectly still. He goes. Rolling.
And
Smooth out of the gate. Great speed. Launch. Huge off the table. Here comes Hawking. Building velocity down the drop. Straight into the transition. He's off the lip.
Landing on his head. On the, what is that called? Why can I not think of all of this?
That's the half pipe.
The half pipe, yeah, skateboarding. Yes, people in the chat, yes, this is AI. It is Sora AI. This is Chat GPT. This is Open AI. This is all AI. This was the disclaimer that I put at the start of scrolling time. All of these videos are AI. Certainly, Stephen Hawking is not part of the Blue Angels. Watch this. This one made me crack up.
This is what curiosity and mathematics can do when you add a jet engine.
That's Professor Stephen Hawking flying in formation with the Blue Angels.
Flying in formation with the Blue Angels. Someone in the chat said, I had no idea he was so athletic. Yes.
Again, that
Tony
chair.
Hawking,
There's
someone
not a
said.
scratch on that chair. It ate it in the half pipe, and now it's going Mach 7 with the Blue Angels. There's not a scratch on that chair.
And he really wasn't flying in formation with the Blue Angels. He was kind of going rogue on his own, but still very impressive nonetheless.
He was taking point.
Here's Harriet Tubman hitting a home run.
2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch. Crack driven. Left field. Way back. Get out of here. It's gone. Grand slam. Harriet Tubman just walked off the World Series.
It's incredible.
We got to play this back a second here.
What can't she do?
Look where she's standing in the batter's box. She's running to the catcher. Come on, Harriet. Get in the,
It's a power station.
yeah, I know it. Get on the right side.
Crack driven. Left field. Way back. Get out of here. It's gone. Grand slam. Harriet Tubman just walked off the World Series.
I love how she's not wearing a uniform. It's like she did like a celeb shot. Like they were just like called her out to do her own thing. I love it. Then she started, the conversation took a turn, right?
Right. Yes. So she made an outrageous statement saying that she thinks it would be better if children in foster care would be aborted rather than born because they might go through trauma. And she started saying horrible things about Christianity as well, mocking my faith. She started calling me names. And I said, well, at least I'm not the one who said we should kill babies in foster care, because that's what she straight up said. I asked her that question and she said, why not? And in that moment, she said, that's not the point. And she decided to just deck me in the face, first right in the middle of my forehead, and second with her iPhone, actually, that caused a big gash in my forehead.
So did she punch you?
Yes. She punched me and then she hit me with her phone in my eyebrow, actually, not my forehead, my eyebrow, that caused a gash. And I had to get stitches and a tetanus shot and went to the hospital.
Oh my gosh. So what was going through your head when this happened, when she's punching you? I mean, has anything like this ever happened to you before? I'm sure you've had conversations where they've gotten tense, but what were you thinking?
Well, in that moment, I mean, I kind of felt like a cartoon character that had just been knocked out. My world was spinning. I couldn't figure out if I was really okay or if I was imagining that I was okay.
Right.
Thankfully, I did not fall onto the concrete and I was able to, hold myself up. But I just was only concerned about getting away from her in that moment, because if she's going to do that, she's probably going to come back for more. And I'm not a fighter, okay?
Yeah.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. And so I could not take on this woman. And although I'm not a small, super small person, this woman was much larger than I am. So my husband, he was behind the camera. He was able to get her away, thankfully. And my world was just rocked. I mean, all I was thinking of, people need to know that this happened. I'm not just going to let this go. This is insane. And it's going to continue to happen if we ignore it and if we just let it go.
Of course. I'm so glad that you posted this video, because it just exposes how violent the left really is. And they get violent when they can't answer the question. I mean, that's what we're seeing, not just in your videos, but a lot of these man on the street videos that I see, they come up, people are asking, why are you protesting today? And it's just such an, innocent, basic question. And it gets these people so riled up because they can't answer. What are you here protesting? Well, and then you just push them on little things that they should know. Like, oh, well, Trump's bad. Well, why? Why do you think Trump's bad? Well, he's a criminal. Well, okay, well, explain that. Explain what he's doing. And then they can't. And then they get violent or they walk away. And now this woman, she has also bought into the doom and gloom. Not only does she believe that President Trump is going to continue to run and stay in office in 2028, she's just so dejected. She's so down in the dumps over it. She's just not going to do anything about it. Watch.
If Trump is president in 2028, guess what? I'm still not going to do anything because I'm in a perpetual state of inertia and I have a toddler to take care of. So I'm just watching the world pass me by like a crazy carnival full of skeletons and clowns and people I used to know, including myself.
It's pretty doom and gloom, huh?
Do you think she waited for the fire engine?
No, the sirens were paid actors. The sirens were paid actors for sure. All right, I'm going to end the show tonight on a video. This is just peak 2025. I hate the way that our culture has gone, but everyone just hates each other. Everyone's got their phones out. They're trying to record other people. Watch this.
I've never seen anything so disgusting in my life.
Disgusting?
Disgusting.
It's Sexy Patrick.
No, you're disgusting. You're like a pig. Look at you.
You know what? Two can play that game.
See me? I'm 70 years old and I'm in shape. You see me? This is what it looks like to be in shape.
Okay, but you probably didn't have a childhood like I did, sir.
You're disgusting.
You're disgusting.
Good.
You're disgusting.
Okay, here I am, disgusting. Don't come over near me and act like nothing's going on.
I wasn't harming you, though. I didn't say anything to you. You talked to me first by calling me disgusting. What makes me disgusting?
Look how fat you are.
Look how fat you are.
I'm in great shape.
Oh my goodness, people love my body.
No, they don't.
You're fat. No, you're fat. No, you're fat. No, you're disgusting. No, you're disgusting. This video, I saw this and, yes, this woman is dressed, she's not dressed enough. I will say I would appreciate if you're carrying some extra weight to cover it. Don't wear this skimpy little crochet Patrick Star inspired, I don't even know what, set. I would appreciate her covering that. But she didn't. And, she's really not hurting anyone aside from the fact that it's not fun to look at, but she's really only hurting herself by being that unhealthy. But if she wants to go set up a camera and film whatever video of her dressed however she wants, fine. The guy started it by saying, "You're disgusting." And then she said that you're disgusting. And then, of course, he's like doing a body check. Like he's turning around and he's like, "I'm 70 years old. I'm fit." His gut is hanging over his pants. Then, of course, it's 2025. So everyone's like, let me start filming this. Let me start filming this interaction that didn't have to happen, by the way. This is my rule. We have lost the art of shutting the fuck up. If everyone just shuts up, none of this happens, right? You see a fat person out in public, don't say anything. It's none of your business. She's not hurting anyone, but now it's two fatties yelling at each other. It's just insane. Then of course, the girl gets her phone out because she's filming. The 70-year-old has like a full-on camcorder out. He's like, I don't know why he had that on him. The whole video is so ridiculous. Oh my gosh, just everyone shut up and leave each other alone and stop filming.
And my favorite part was she grabs her phone and flashes her triple chin on the camera as she goes to flip it around.
All in all, this is just peak 2025. This is representative of our culture, and it's not looking good. But apparently, you can put your cat on Ozempic in 2028. So here's the headline: weight loss drugs for cats. Company launches clinical trial of GLP-1 implants in cats. So the company is called Acava Pharmaceuticals. They're based in San Francisco. And this isn't going to be like an injection like you use for human beings. This is going to be an implant. And they're calling this study Meow 1 instead of GLP-1. So Meow 1. And apparently they're going to put this implant, this GLP-1 implant in cats for about 3 months. But then they're going to look at these cats for about 6 months to see how it all happens. I don't really like the idea of testing Ozempic on cats. I'm just going to be honest. I think this is totally
That's
unnecessary.
what we're saying in here. Is I thought we axed animal testing. I mean, we used to send monkeys to space, and that was frowned upon.
Right. And a lot of the
why are we sticking this in a cat?
A lot of the dog trials that Fauci did, people are anti that. Anyway, this is the first ever trial of its kind. They're going to study up to 50 cats, and they're hoping that this is going to get approved by the FDA by 2027. And this is the kicker for me. It would cost cat owners out of pocket $100 per month to put their freaking cat on Ozempic. Imagine paying $100 a month in this economy for something completely unnecessary.
That's not enough. That number needs to be way higher.
This is like natural selection.
I want a
make it
cat Ozempic tax.
Yeah.
The minute that my cat is on fat meds for $100 a month is the minute that I get a dog.
And the cat isn't the problem. The cat is not the problem. It is the cat parent. It is the owner. That's what pisses me off about obese pets and obese children. They don't just get that way. It's the parents who are responsible for overfeeding them. It's abuse, in my opinion. Cats just don't get fat by accident. They don't feed themselves. Adult humans are responsible for setting the amounts of food that they eat, how much exercise they get, how many treats they get, if they're being fed, human food under the table, things like that. So if your pet is obese, that is your fault. And what's more annoying is that these people are either so lazy that they can't be bothered to right their wrongs, or they won't admit that they're wrong. They'll just admit oh, something's wrong with my cat. This is like a quick fix to help them.
Are you cat fat phobic?
I am cat fat phobic. I don't think the cats should be fat. I don't, think of them any different, but I'm judging their parents.
If you bring it on a plane, do you have to buy 2 plane tickets?
I don't know if a cat can get that fat. I hope not. But I don't know why you would give your cat a GLP-1 implant when you can just feed them less and make sure that they exercise. Go play with your cat. Go get a laser pointer and run them around. That's what I do with Birdie. She's still a little fat. I give her too many treats, but I wouldn't put her on GLP-1s. It's just crazy. People have a very hard time understanding thermodynamics and basic math. That's really what it is. It's calories in, calories out. How did the pet get fat? do the opposite of what you did. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this holiday episode of Nightly Scroll. Have a very, very Merry Christmas, and I will see you next time. Bye.